In today's generation, if people are saying, I don't know how to make money, they're lying to themselves. Learn it and make 2025 the best year of your life. If success is really equals time, then the last 10 years are a lie. ये दिमाग से कॉन्सेप्ट निकाल दो, 3 साल में ये करूंगा, फिर ग्रेजुएशन करूंगा, फिर पोस्ट ग्रेजुएशन करूंगा, फिर 5 साल जॉब करूंगा. Measure your life in 4 areas of life. HRCM.
20 years they are stuck.
20 years they are stuck. Same ratings.
Oh my God.
अवेयरनेस तो दुनिया भर की. इनफैक्ट आज की तारीख में अवेयरनेस शायद इतनी ज्यादा हो गई है कि जिसको वेट लॉस करना नहीं आता वो दूसरों को ज्ञान दे सकता है कैसे वेट लॉस करना चाहिए. And I used to smoke 40 cigarettes a day.
40 cigarettes.
40 cigarettes a day. That's like 2 packets.
And how did you go away from that?
NLP. Would you fall in love with someone who's sad every day?
I won't be.
And they are using you to feel good about themselves. All emotions are lies. In fact, the first lesson is so powerful that people cry in the first lesson itself. Answer is 52 weeks do this process. First thing that we need to do whenever we talk about creating goals is
10 years of success in 1 year. 2025 is already 10% over, but if you're falling behind your goals, this podcast can be a game changer. Hi, I'm Ishan, and on popular demand, we have Mitesh Khatri, one of India's leading law of attraction coaches, back on the Limitless show to talk to us about how to make 2025 the best year of your life. How you can use various frameworks and techniques to ace every part of your life, from health, career, relationships, and money. So watch this podcast till the end, and with the link in the description, you'll get access to a free emotional habit tracker, an Excel sheet using which you can track the next 52 weeks of your life. Plus, you also get free access to the first lessons of health mastery, law of attraction, and many more programs designed by Mitesh Khatri and his team to help you make this year the best year of your life using the link in the description. And now let's hear it from Mitesh. If you want to make 2025 the best year of your life, this is the most important podcast that you should be listening to. Mitesh, thank you so much for joining me here. And aap kaise ho? How are you doing there?
Thank you, Ishan, for inviting me one more time to your channel. It's wonderful coming here again. And as usual, feeling good, starting with positive vibes in 2025.
Amazing, amazing. So the focus of this whole podcast, which you've talked about before, is having 10 years of success in 1 year.
Yes.
And we'll talk more about that, what that really means, and how can people learn from your learnings and your experiences and make 2025 the best year ever. So I want to start first of all by talking about this whole concept of having 10 years of success in 1 year. What does that mean? How can someone achieve it? What does that look like?
Done. So when we talk about 10 years of success in 1 year, I came up with this idea when I was working on my own coaching programs that I was creating for my students, which is called as Platinum Membership. So the promise and the tagline of Platinum is 10 years of success in 1 year. And when we were creating that, there were 2 things that I had as a foundation step. Step 1 is that a false belief that we all have, and that is success equals time, which is so not true. Because if you think about it, if success is really equals time, then the last 10 years are a lie. Because ChatGPT, Sam Altman, all the greatest success stories that you've heard in the last 10 years have achieved more success than companies who've achieved in the last 100 years. If you really think about it, right? Then success is not equals time. So the idea was to understand how can we crunch time? Because one of the things I learned from Tony Robbins, who's my mentor, is how do you figure out a way to crunch time? He said the biggest art that anybody can learn, and if 2025 you really want to make it the best year ever, get into this whole research constantly of how do I become so productive that I can crunch time? Something that others can do in 100 years, can I do it in 10 years? Something that others can do it in 10 years, can I do it in 1 year? The more you learn the whole concept of crunching time and doing things less, doing more things in less time.
वो quote है ना कि like we overestimate what we can do in a day but underestimate what we can do in a year.
That's true.
Yeah.
Perfectly. So that was the first foundation, that success is not equals time. Success is much more than that. So then what is success about?
But how do you define success, first
Exactly.
of all?
So I'll come to that part as a second question, because there are 2 foundation steps which I was talking about, right? Like 10 years of success in 1 year. First, तो अगर हम ये मान के बैठ गए कि success equals time, तो फिर कर ही नहीं पाओगे. Then you'll just keep debating with this idea कि possible ही नहीं है.
And time means freedom, you're saying, freedom from everything.
No, not just freedom, but ये दिमाग से कॉन्सेप्ट निकाल दो कि लीनियर ग्रोथ होनी चाहिए. 3 साल में ये करूंगा, फिर ग्रेजुएशन करूंगा, फिर पोस्ट ग्रेजुएशन करूंगा, फिर 5 साल जॉब करूंगा. अगर वो आइडियोलॉजी लेके चलोगे तो फिर सक्सेस इज इक्वल्स टाइम.
बेसिकली आप बोल रहे हैं कि सक्सेस इज नॉट डायरेक्टली प्रोपोर्शनल टू द टाइम दैट यू आर स्पेंडिंग इनटू इट, एंड द ट्रेडिशनल आइडिया ऑफ सक्सेस ऑफ गोइंग थ्रू द ट्रेडिशनल डिग्रीज एंड ऑल इज नॉट always true or can be better.
Correct. Absolutely. So let's break that first limiting belief in 2025 कि success और time का कोई लेना देना नहीं है. You can do anything in any amount of time. That's first. The second one being, if you really think about why are people stuck for 10 years, whenever I ask people who join our programs and I say, how many of you are stuck for how long in your life? For an example, the audience who's watching us today, I would say measure your life in 4 areas of life. HRCM, health, relationships, career and money, on a standard of 1 to 10. Let's say 1 being low, 10 being very high. And whatever number they give themselves, generally people give average numbers to each. Like overweight hai to 5 for health, right? Relationship mein breakups hote ja rahe hain, friends nahi hai to 3 or 4, career mein confused hai to about 3 or 4, financially stuck hai to about 4 or 5. Now whatever number they give me, I always ask them this question: for how many years your life is more or less the same at the same number, at the same benchmark? And they'll realize, no, answers are 5 years, 10 years. Some people are giving me 20 years, 30 years. Life is the same.
20 years they are stuck.
20 years they are stuck. Same ratings.
Oh my God.
And when I ask them why, they don't know why. But here is the real reason. Lack of life skills. Right? What does it take to succeed in any area of life? One is professional education. We all need that. But the second is the life skills. In health, what are some of the life skills that makes a person successful? Let's think about it. Is it the knowledge of diet? But that's professional education. What are the life skills that one needs to succeed in health? What are the goals that we have? Weight loss करना है,
Right.
body बनानी है, कोई underweight है तो उसको muscles बनाने हैं, सबके अपने अपने goals हैं. But health में it's not rocket science, right? It's basically the same goals. So what are the life skills missing? You give me an example.
I think people don't know how to avoid a lot of the junk food that they have.
But when you say they don't know how to avoid, what skill would you call this?
I think they just don't have the right systems or people stopping them or just things around them that would enable them to realize कि अच्छा अगर मैं ये खाऊंगा या फिर अगर मैं ये करूंगा तो उससे मेरी हेल्थ पे इम्पैक्ट आएगा.
But
अवेयरनेस नहीं है.
ये तो सबको पता है. सबको पता है कि अगर मैं बटर ज़्यादा खाऊंगा तो मोटा हो जाऊंगा.
Right.
सबको पता है कि अगर कैलोरीज गिन के नहीं खाऊंगा तो मोटा हो जाऊंगा.
तो कंट्रोल नहीं है मतलब.
हाँ, तो उसको स्किल क्या बोलोगे?
अवेयरनेस, सेल्फ अवेयरनेस.
अवेयरनेस तो दुनिया भर की. इनफैक्ट आज की तारीख में अवेयरनेस शायद इतनी ज़्यादा हो गई है कि जिसको वेट लॉस करना नहीं आता वो दूसरों को ज्ञान दे सकता है कैसे वेट लॉस करना चाहिए. Right?
So maybe they don't know how to sell it to themselves.
So here is the skill that is missing in the area of health. The skill to make yourself like or dislike something. That's actually a skill. Most people don't look at it as a skill. Most people think, I like something because that's who I am. I don't like something because that's who I am. That's my nature. No, it's not your nature. It's a skill. It can be developed.
You've trained your mind to like or dislike something.
Unconsciously. But question is, people today who don't have that skill, have they trained themselves? No.
They've not trained them.
Something has trained them. Someone has trained them. Now, what is that something or someone? Environment, culture.
People around them.
People around them, right? But they don't really have that skill of, for an example, somebody who is overweight, obviously likes eating a lot of unhealthy stuff. Or even though they eat healthy, they overeat. Fair? Do they have the skill कि एक जगह बैठो, apply a technique on your brain and you stop liking something that is not good for you? Do they have that skill today? No.
How do you learn that skill?
It's a skill. Have you heard about NLP?
I have.
Neuro-linguistic programming. It's a skill that we teach in Platinum because it's all about training your brain, learning the skill to go from like to dislike and dislike to like.
What is NLP from scratch? If someone is watching this wants to know about it.
So your brain has neurons.
Yeah.
So the word neurons. Language is the language in which your neurons communicate with each other. Right? And programming is eventually there is a program fit in your brain.
Algorithm chal raha hai.
There's an algorithm kind of a thing. Now there is a skill that you can learn in NLP. Example, there's a person who loves smoking. Okay? Loves smoking. Wants to quit, but doesn't have the skill to dislike smoking, right? In NLP, there's a particular skill that you can use to dislike it. I used to be a smoker, by the way.
Oh.
And I used to smoke 40 cigarettes a day.
40 cigarettes?
40 cigarettes a day. That's like 2 packets.
And how did you go away from that?
NLP. I learned the skill. This was 20 years ago for the first
but
time.
But isn't it like a addiction? Lat nahi hoti hai koi? Like it makes you want to go back and have that.
Any addiction is nothing but a neurological highway in your brain. If you understand how to break that highway, and if you understand how to reprogram those neurological links, You can rewire yourself to feel good about something and not feel good about anything you want. If really people want to make 2025 best ever, one of the things I would say is commit yourself to learning the most important skill of making yourself like something and dislike something. While I can't really give that as a 3-minute process, because if it really was a 3-minute process, I'm telling you, I would be richer than Sam Altman. Don't you think so?
Right.
Like, imagine if I could take 3 minutes and make somebody hate smoking. I would be the richest person on this earth. But the reason it requires time to learn is because it's a skill, right? That's one skill. But here's another skill. It's not only important to go from liking something to dislike something, it's also important to go from dislike to like. Let's take an example. People who want to lose weight, they don't like exercising. They just want to sit on the sofa and enjoy that. They don't want to.
They cannot go without sugar.
They can't go without sugar, or they can't really exercise. So can you make them like exercising? I did that with myself. I programmed myself to enjoy exercising. Today, I and my platinum members are programmed to every day do 100 squats and 100 push-ups in 10 minutes.
100 push-ups.
And 100 squats, both in 10 minutes.
And that happens because they were programmed to do that.
Yes, it's not by accident. So let me go back to what I said, success equals time. If you think of it in a linear process, somebody will say, you need discipline, you need hard work, you need consistency. You do 10 push-ups today, then you do 11 push-ups tomorrow, and then you show consistency, and then you show discipline. After 3 months, you'll get to 100 push-ups, 100 squats, correct? But that's success equals time. It's possible. I'm not saying that's not possible. But you don't have to do that only. If you learn the skill to make yourself like exercising, then you can go there much faster.
And how does that work?
That's the skill that you learn. That, like I said, if I could teach you that on a podcast in 3 minutes, I would do it. But it takes time. Any skill takes 1 or 2 days to learn. But once you know it, it takes few minutes to apply. Right? I did that with myself. Today, I am able to enjoy exercising. Because I was someone who used to dislike exercise. Now I like exercise. You have to program yourself that way. So Olympic champions are champions because they have certain things that they like to do as a lifestyle. If you ask the best Olympic champion in the world, do you exercise every day? What would he say? They
would do a lot of that and rest as well.
Of course. But they would also smile on your question because like, what do you mean by exercise? That's like their routine, right? That's like their lifestyle.
I met celebrity chef Vikas Khanna in New York in Bungalow, their restaurant. And after having the meal, right, I asked him कि आप ये सब dishes बनाते कैसे हो? मतलब they're so unique, they're so creative. And he looked at me and he laughed and he was like, बेटा तू जितनी उम्र का है ना उससे ज़्यादा सालों से मैं बना रहा हूँ dishes.
Exactly.
And you're asking me this now.
Exactly. So if he could teach you that in 3 steps, he would. But it's a skill that he's acquired. Now, if you learn things like NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, it takes 2 days to go through the program. But then you acquire the skill of making yourself like something or dislike something. That's one. Another skill that we miss a lot is the skill to motivate yourself. People think motivation is something that happens to you. You watch a great YouTube video, you get pumped up.
वो external motivation होता है.
हाँ, एक steroid होता है, dopamine आ गया. For 1 hour you feel super high.
But then what is the secret to internally motivate you for anything that you want to do?
That's what I'm saying.
Like for me, it was like the reason I started YouTube was just because I wanted to improve my communication skills and I wanted to talk in a better way and sell and articulate my thoughts.
Correct.
And that came from an internal need to express myself and know that I suck at it right now, like when I was 18, but I want to constantly improve it. So I would just talk to the camera of my laptop and just talk ki aaj hua kya every day. But what does the internal motivation look like if someone wants to get it?
So if somebody wants to internally motivate themselves, that has to first acquire as a skill. ये एक पूरा process है. उसको मैं 2 लाइन में जवाब नहीं दे सकता कि चलो get up, get into a positive body language, अच्छा affirmation बोलो, motivate हो जाओगे. If it was that simple, everybody would be doing it.
Affirmations चलते हैं? Like, does it work? Of course,
affirmation helps. But if you don't, so I'll give you an example of actual skill that helps you motivate yourself towards something. It's a long process, but answer short में दे सकता हूँ. One of the lessons we teach in Advanced Law of Attraction is lesson number 2. It's called as FTBA alignment. So internal motivation comes from alignment on 4 areas of life: feelings, thoughts, beliefs, and actions. Most people, the problem is feeling कहीं और जा रही है, thought कहीं और जा रहा है, belief कहीं और जा रहा है, action तो है ही नहीं. Right?
They're not aligned in the
They're not aligned. So imagine these are like 4 wheels of a car. And if the 4 wheels of a car are not aligned, will the car run?
No. Not.
So your four wheels internally are your feelings, thoughts, beliefs, and actions.
And does affirmations help you with that?
Affirmations will not help if those FTBAs are not aligned. That's what I'm trying to explain. Most people on YouTube as a basic law of attraction would say, affirmation बनाओ, गोल पूरा हो जाएगा. अब किसी का हो जाता है, किसी का नहीं होता है. क्यों नहीं होता है? क्योंकि किसी का गलती से FTBA अलाइंड होता है, तो उसको affirmation काम कर देता है. बट जिसका FTBA अलाइन नहीं है, वो affirmation करके भी रिजल्ट नहीं मिलता उसको. So what do? We sit at one place and we write down that if I want to achieve this goal, example, I want to get a job. What are the feelings I would have after getting a job? And not like the day I got the job, but 1 month later after getting the job, what are the feelings you would have?
Right.
Those feelings would not be excitement. Those feelings would not be, yes, I got it. वो एक महीने बाद थोड़ी होता है वो. एक महीने बाद it's about feeling normal, going
stable,
to the office, secure, right? Feeling peace. Those are the emotions that you need to align towards getting that job. So write down those emotions. What would you be thinking every day you get up in the morning and 1 month later you've already achieved your goal? What would you be thinking? Make a list of that. 1 month later after achieving something, what would you believe about yourself? What would you believe about life? What would you believe about your opportunity? Write that down. How would you act 1 month after having that job? What would be your routine? Write that down. अब affirmation बोलना है ना, ये वाली चीजों को जोर से बोलो. That this is what
every morning when you wake up.
Every morning when you wake up. That this is what I feel every day. This is what I'm thinking right now. This is what I'm believing right now. This is how I'm acting right now. Now this is you aligning consciously your FTBA. And when you align that is where you're acquiring these skills to align your FTBA every day. फिर एक्शन होना शुरू हो जाता है, फिर इंटरनल मोटिवेशन आना चालू हो जाता है. बिकॉज नाउ व्हेन यू से टू योरसेल्फ, ओके, आई वांट टू गेट अप इन द मॉर्निंग एंड आई वांट टू रिकॉर्ड अ वीडियो ऑन यूट्यूब, योर फीलिंग इज सेइंग inspired, but your belief is not saying, but what if people don't like it?
Yeah.
Because you've chosen to first feel inspired. You've written down the thought कि मुझे ये काम करना है. You've written down the belief, whatever I do, I believe in myself. And you've said the affirmation, I love making videos on YouTube every morning. Now when you say this every day, it aligns your FTBA. When it aligns your FTBA, motivation becomes easy. Otherwise, what happens is most people motivate themselves only on one element of FTBA. Guess which one?
The inspiring part?
Feelings.
Yeah.
Only feelings. अच्छा म्यूजिक सुन लिया, मोटिवेट हो गए. अच्छा पॉडकास्ट देख लिया, मोटिवेट हो गए. तो फीलिंग तो आ गई, पर क्योंकि थॉट और बिलीफ सपोर्ट नहीं कर रहा है, तो एक्शन नहीं ले पाते.
Been there, watching Jim Rohn, Les Brown, okay, motivational videos, and then getting to study, and then फिर 1 घंटे बाद I'm distracted again.
So let me ask you this question. अभी हमने 2-3 स्किल्स की बात की, राइट? लाइक टू डिसलाइक, मोटिवेशन का स्किल, FTBA अलाइनमेंट. अगर 2025 में कोई सोच ले, कमिट कर ले कि जो 10 साल में मैं स्किल्स नहीं सीखा पिछली, दिस ईयर आई एम गोइंग टू लर्न दीज स्किल्स. हाउ मच टाइम विल इट टेक फॉर अ पर्सन टू लर्न दीज स्किल्स? मेक अ गेस.
एक स्किल को 1 by 1 लर्न करने के लिए एटलीस्ट 6 months तो वुड बी नीडेड.
रॉकेट साइंस तो नहीं है, 10 साल तो नहीं लगेंगे.
नहीं.
So can I say somebody who's struggling in their health, whether it is weight gain, whether it is weight loss, whether it is health problems, if they're struggling for the last 10 years, it's because of lack of life skills. Fair?
Right.
अगर 6 महीने में उन्होंने ये लाइफ स्किल इस साल अचीव कर ली, can anything stop them from achieving their success in this year?
Nothing can stop them.
तो 10 years of success हो गया ना 1 साल के अंदर.
Right.
Practical or not practical? Let's take one more example. A lot of people are struggling in relationships right now. Not attracting the right friends, not attracting the right life partner. Partner है तो झगड़े हो रहे हैं, not getting along, breaking up. क्यों हो रहा है? Why do you think it's happening?
Maybe they're not happy with themselves first.
But why?
Because they are not where they imagined themselves to be in life.
So let's come back to the topic of life skills. Can I say if I want to have a great relationship with you, I need to have a great relationship with myself?
Yes.
Don't you think that's also a skill? Or you could say वो तो अपने आप ही हो जाएगा.
Right.
ठीक है, तो फिर बैठे रहो चांस पे. पर 10 साल में तो नहीं हुआ.
Why don't people love themselves? Why do people hate themselves so much?
Because we are addicted by the idea of liking only one part of ourselves, which is the good part of ourselves. Love comes from
acceptance nahi hai for the bad part.
So love comes from loving a person, whether it's you or somebody else, by accepting 2 parts of you, the strength and the weakness, right? The good and the bad, the right and the wrong, by realizing that I am perfect as well as imperfect. Now that's a skill. You over a period of time learn to love yourself. Develop a relationship with yourself first. अभी क्या हो रहा है? Somebody who's trying to attract a partner, I'll tell you why they're not attracting a partner. It is one empty person who's feeling empty and lonely, trying to attract another person to feel good. Yeah, I want a companionship in my life. But tell me, why would you want to be partner with somebody who's lonely?
Right.
You tell me, would you fall in love with someone and get attracted to someone who's sad every day?
I won't be.
Would you be attracted to somebody who's feeling lonely every day and they are using you
To
feel
fill
good
their
about
own cup.
themselves?
Yeah.
Would you be attracted to someone like this?
I will not.
No. So don't you think the first skill required is to learn to love yourself? Right? Second skill. Let's say I love myself. But now people don't have the skill to accept others, to listen, to communicate, to manage conflicts. These are skills. I get into a relationship with you as a friend. But don't you think I need some skills to maintain that relationship?
Right.
Listening skills, negotiation skills. Today you and I have a conflict. Is it natural to have conflicts?
Absolutely.
But where were you given a formal education on what are the 4 steps of managing a conflict?
And then there is miscommunication, and then there's ego, and then people don't communicate, and that's why most relationships fail.
So one of the things we teach in Platinum is a relationship mastery skill program, where we talk about there are 3 types of egos. Learn to understand those egos and then to deal with people's ego accordingly. When you have a conflict, how do you manage that conflict? What are the skills to handle that relationship? Right? To give you an example, there are 3 types of egos. It's called child, adult, and parent.
Right.
If you recognize the other person's ego, you can fulfill their need accordingly. And you may not have to then have an ego clash. Right? Another skill is conflict management. There are 4 styles of handling a conflict: passive, submissive, aggressive, and assertive. Most people learn this with time. Success equals time, trial and error.
Right.
But skill है, सीख लो, formally ठीक लो, अच्छे से सीख लो उसको. I would say go to YouTube, go to ChatGPT nowadays and ask what are the best ways of managing a conflict. And 2 दिन ना dedicate कर दो and learn that skill. So that the next time you have a conflict with people, your brain doesn't say यार अब क्या करो.
And these are all the parts of NLP.
NLP, relationship mastery, this whole thing comes under one thing called life coaching, which is what I do. In my case, I call it Platinum membership. Some people have different names. Like Tony Robbins, for an example, has multiple types of programs, which has UPW, Date with Destiny, etc., etc. But the point is, go into life skills learning this year of 2024, so that one goes into understanding के एक हफ्ता conflict management कर लो, एक हफ्ता self love सीख लो, एक हफ्ता relationship connection सीख लो. Example, how to build a rapport. People are not confident in
With like your boss, for example.
Boss, friend, someone whom you're attracted to. Tell me, if you are not having the knowledge of coding, your boss suddenly gives you a project to code something. Will you be confident or not?
Will not be confident.
Why not?
Because I don't have the skills that
Correct.
I needed, and I'm not communicating that maybe with the
Correct.
boss. Because I'm afraid maybe.
Simple. People ask me, when I am in a crowd, I'm not confident. Why? Lack of knowledge, lack of skill. So do you know that connecting to people and building rapport with people is a skill? Example, the way you're sitting right now and the way I'm sitting right now, if your and my body language starts matching, it builds rapport within each other at an unconscious level, at a subconscious level. If I'm looking at you and if I use my right eye to look at your right eye, do you know that subconsciously it triggers a certain hormone in your body and your brain which makes you feel more connected with me?
But
Now,
people don't communicate or don't look at the eyes all the time. They're like looking here and there because they're not confident.
Exactly. But when I have that skill and when I have that knowledge, then will I use it? I will.
So it's basically all about awareness of all of these things and then making the right choices in your life.
Awareness
to
is
make
only
it
the
better.
one step, Ishan. Awareness is going to YouTube, going to ChatGPT and finding this knowledge. That is awareness. Skill building is practicing it. Right? So the question again I'll ask is, somebody who's struggling for the last 10 years in their relationships, whether it's to attract a partner or whether they're struggling in their marriage, make a list of all the skills which I am missing in my life because of which I'm struggling in my life.
The ones that you talked about right
Examples are those.
Right.
Listening, communicating, rapport building, conflict management. All these are skills. Write down these skills which are missing in 2025. Commit to learning them. कितना time लग जाएगा? 10 साल तो नहीं लगेंगे.
Right.
2 साल तो नहीं लगेंगे. चलो 1 महीने में नहीं होगा.
But they also have to put themselves out there
Exactly.
in order to practice it. So maybe in like an event or maybe like in public gatherings where they can make friends and then practice the things that they're learning.
First learn, then practice. Because if they just go to the event, then it's success equals time, which means if they go to 20 events, obviously they'll develop that skill over a period of time. But if they learn the skill and go, instead of learning through 20 events, they may have to learn it only in 3 events.
So sharpen your axe and then cut
Sharpen
the
your axe and then go to cut the tree rather than just trying to do it on its own. If they learn that skill in 6 months, will they be able to solve the relationship problems where they are stuck for the last 10 years?
Absolutely. Well, at least from their part. But then it depends on the other person if they are aware and they are practicing the skills that.
Yeah. So then is 10 years of success in 1 year possible? It's possible. Right? Practical. Same thing in career or financial life. A lot of people tell me I'm struggling financially. So, okay, what are the skills you're missing because of which you're missing the money? So always remember, anything I'm missing in my 4 areas is because of missing some skill.
Right.
If I'm missing money, it's obviously because I'm missing the skills required to make money. Give me examples. What are the skills required to make money in 2025?
The most important is learning how to sell, I think.
There we go.
Making money for others makes you money.
There we go.
Yep.
So learning how to sell, right? What else can we say as a skill?
Learning about how to write effectively, learning how to communicate effectively, learning a hard skill like coding, for example, or just learning how to design or edit videos. Correct. Those are the most important skills which people can learn today and get jobs and opportunities.
Correct. The problem is people are not learning these skills. So if you really want to make 2025 the best year of your life, make a list of the skills missing in the last 1 year, in the last 5 years, in the last 10 years. Make a list of that, commit yourself, learn those skills in the first 6 months, 10 years of success, 1 साल का 6 महीने में आ जाएगा.
But what is the system someone can create to learn a skill from scratch if you have done that in the past?
Wonderful question. So we do this with Platinum members every week. There are 2 things critical. 1, Friday to Friday, you can do it Monday to Monday. In my case, I do it Friday to Friday. Measure your HRCM benchmark every Friday. Why? Anything you don't measure, you cannot grow. You measure it, you can grow it, right? So one of the things they'll teach you whenever you go through a weight loss program is measure yourself every week. Measure yourself. So in my case, I would say take an Excel sheet. Write down HRCM, health, relationships, career and money. And every week rate yourself. Okay, where is my health today? Okay. If you do this every Friday, internally your brain says, yeah, thoda to grow kar le. Do something.
But it can also turn into self-hate. अगर growth नहीं मिल रही है, they're like, यार मैं तो कर ही नहीं सकता. Like I'm just failing at it.
Hence the Excel sheet is not complete yet. So the first column is rating yourself for the HRCM. Only rating will create frustration if you're not growing. So the second column is now about writing down the skills missing in that area. Sorry, not the skills. The second column is the problems. Example, if I have written career, my rating is 5. Why are you rating it 5? Because, okay, let's say I don't have a job right now. Or I have a job but I'm not getting a promotion for the last 2 years. Or I'm in a business but my business is stuck for the last 6 months.
या मजा नहीं आ रहा है काम.
या मजा नहीं आ रहा है काम करने. Problems जो है वो लिख लो पहले, right? अब third column में लिखो lack of skills कौन सी है, relevant to those problems. General skills मत लिखो, relevant to those problems. Example, अगर करियर में किसी ने 5 लिखा है और प्रॉब्लम लिखा है मेरा बॉस के साथ रोज झगड़ा हो रहा है, तो कौन सा स्किल मिसिंग है?
Rapport building and conflict handling.
So now, और एक्सपेक्टेशन मैनेजमेंट नहीं आता मुझे, राइट? मुझे कम्युनिकेट करना नहीं आता, मुझे सेट एक्सपेक्टेशन करना नहीं आता. Write down those required skills which are missing in relevance to your problems. Because a general skill may not be useful to me. Because it has to be relevant with my problem. Example, मेरा और मेरे बॉस के साथ कोई झगड़ा ही नहीं होता. So as of now, is conflict management skill missing? As of now, is problem से related नहीं है.
You don't know about it.
I don't know. So, okay. So then what is the problem? Okay, my problem is my boss keeps giving me work and I'm so overloaded that I'm overwhelmed. And he's very happy with my work, but I am stressed all the time. तो कौन सा skill missing है?
Communicate नहीं कर रहे हो या तो आप या तो
I don't know how to
manage it.
I don't know how to say no. बॉस काम दिए जा रहा है, मैं लिए जा रहा हूँ, कहीं तो no बोलना पड़ेगा.
But maybe they don't have the choice to say no.
There's always a choice. See, again, that the skill to understand decision making. Where do I have a choice? Where I don't have a choice? How much can I say no, and how much can I not? Where can I and where can I not? How to say, how not to say no? अगर ये नॉलेज ही नहीं होगा तो फर्स्ट थिंग अ पर्सन सेज इज चॉइस है ही नहीं.
राइट.
बट चॉइस तब होगी जब स्किल होगा. जिसके पास स्किल ही नहीं है उसके पास तो ऑब्वियसली कोई चॉइस नहीं है. सो राइट डाउन द रेलेवेंट स्किल which is missing to that particular problem of yours. And now fourth column. Make a plan for the next 7 days. To work where? Make a guess.
On the problems that you...
Exact. No, not the problem.
On the skills building part.
Yes. कि एक हफ्ते में मैं ऐसा क्या करूंगा जिससे मैं नो बोलना सीखूंगा. उसका नॉलेज एक्वायर करूंगा. Maybe I'll join a course, maybe I'll join Platinum, or maybe I'll join Ishan, or maybe I'll go to YouTube and say, okay, how to say no. फ्री में कर लो, पैसे नहीं है कोई बात नहीं, फ्री में कर लो, बट स्किल एक्वायर करो. राइट नाउ आई थिंक चैट जीपीटी इज लाइक अ बून ऑफ नॉलेज. जस्ट गो एंड से ओके हाउ गिव मी सिस्टमैटिक वे टू लर्न हाउ टू से नो टू माय बॉस एंड गिव इट अ डिटेल्ड प्रॉम्प्ट सेइंग माय बॉस's बिहेवियर इज दिस, माय बिहेवियर इज दिस, हाउ डू आई लर्न टू डेवलप द प्रैक्टिस ऑफ सेइंग नो. गिव मी थियोरेटिकल स्टेप्स एंड गिव मी प्रैक्टिकल स्टेप्स दैट आई कैन प्रैक्टिस. Give a detailed prompt. ChatGPT will give you the exact steps. You can do it. Now you invest that 7 days saying 10 minutes every day I will practice saying no to somebody in front of the mirror, thinking he's my boss. अगर 7 दिन कोई आदमी एजुकेट कर ले इस तरीके से, what are the chances that he will improve 1 point to learn to say no? 1 point.
It's very possible.
Very possible.
Right.
I am not saying he'll be the best assertive person in the world in 7 days.
Better होगा but
1% तो बढ़ जाएगा. अगर वो 1% से बढ़ गया तो अगले हफ्ते इस फ्राइडे को वो जो रेटिंग आपने 4 दी थी उसको 4.5 कर देना.
राइट.
और वो जो प्रॉब्लम थी उसमें अब ये लिख देना कि इस हफ्ते में मैंने एक बार तो ना बोल दिया, 4 बार नहीं बोल पाया. गुड. रेलेवेंट स्किल मिसिंग, वापस से अपडेट करो. सो वन ऑफ द थिंग्स आई डू विद माय प्लैटिनम मेंबर्स इज ऑल 52 वीक्स विदाउट फेल. ओके, नाउ वेदर यू गाइस जॉइन प्लैटिनम और नॉट, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. Do this because the question was, what is the one framework that we can use to upgrade our skills, right?
Yeah.
Answer is 52 weeks do this process. Week by week. For health, for relationships, for career and money. छोड़ना मत, मैं खुद भी करता हूँ. It takes half an hour every week to make this plan.
Where were you at the start of 2024 and by the end of it? For example, if you
my 1 year.
Okay. Yeah.
So my health in the beginning of 2024 was at point where I was about 5 kilos more overweight than I am right now. But I've lost that. Second, I've maintained that. My stamina for exercising has obviously increased right now. I've gone from 80 to 90 to now 100 push-ups and 100 squats within 10 minutes. Earlier, I used to do it in 20 minutes. Now I do it in 10 minutes. That's in health. In relationships, earlier, I had only few people in my closed arena, where it was only my wife, my family, and a couple of my friends. Manish and Ankur, these are a couple of my good friends. But now I made that commitment in 2024 that I want to have more friends in life. So I influenced more people. I increased the connection of number of friends that I could have in my life. That's in my relationships.
So you prioritized having more friends over having deeper friendships with friends?
No, obviously not. More friends with deeper connections.
With deeper connections. How does that work?
Relationship skills. But first I wrote it as a goal. And then I said, okay, what are the skills that I have missing which are related to that problem of lack of friends? One of the skills I thought was just going out more. I was a very reserved person. I still am. But in 2024, I was even more in the beginning. But then I started meeting more people, connecting with more people, going to events which I would have never gone before. But before going to the event, then I also wrote down a skill saying, okay, when I meet people, how would I develop a connection with them? Right. And believe it, I wrote a list of questions that I would ask people.
But like, if you're meeting someone, how do you wow them on the first meet? Have you discovered that? What is the thing that you say, or how do you create that pitch? For example, Shark Tank pitch जैसे होती है.
So that is a wow only when you have 5 minutes to meet somebody. And if it's a Shark Tank pitch, yes. But I would say it's good to not create a wow in the first moment. पता क्यों?
क्यों?
When you create a wow moment in the first moment, now you're under pressure of creating that wow moment every moment. एक प्रेशर बिल्ड हो जाता है ना कि यार ये फर्स्ट इंप्रेशन मेंटेन करके रखना है. नहीं, आई वुड से इंस्टेड ऑफ क्रिएटिंग अ वाव मोमेंट व्हिच मे नॉट बी रियल, क्रिएट अ रियल कनेक्शन.
How does that happen?
Which may be long lasting. One of the ways I would do that is by having vulnerability and honesty. Right? Genuinely caring for the other person's life and asking questions from that space rather than just asking questions for the sake of impressing somebody.
जैसे आप किसी से पहली बार मिल रहे हो, आप कुछ नहीं जानते उनके बारे में, बट आपको नए दोस्त बनाने हैं, मे बी दे कैन हेल्प यू इन योर करियर, मे बी दे कैन बी अ प्रोफेशनल फ्रेंड और लाइफ के फ्रेंड. तो हाउ डू यू डू दैट?
Okay. So I'll give you an example of one of the skills required in relationship building. Search this tool online called FIRO-B. FIRO-B. It's called Fundamental Interpersonal Relationship Orientation Behavior. It's a psychometric tool, very old, but it has a beautiful framework which gives you the skill to understand people. Why? The questions I ask you may not interest you, even though it's a very genuine question from my side. Why? Because your behavior is very different. Now, if I have the skill to understand your behavior and then ask questions, I will ask the right questions. Example, from FIRO-B point of view, I know you are somebody who is very high on control, which means you like to have a certain control about your life.
Right.
You want to know where you are going. You're a planner. You will not do things randomly, right? So I will ask you questions accordingly, but then I will also make sure that I give you the time to talk. But if you are someone who is low on control, there are people like that, by the way. They're low on control.
Example?
So there are people who are submissive. There are people who are not very good planners. They are not very good predictors.
They let the day control them.
They let the day control them. They're very spontaneous in nature. If you ask them a lot of questions about, so what's your plan? Where are you going tomorrow?
Pata nahi hai.
Where are you going in the next 1 year? They get stressed with those questions.
Yeah. I think that's majority of my people my age, basically.
But not everybody, right? What if I make the mistake of asking you majority questions, but you don't fall into that majority category? So to build that relationship with you, I would, for an example, learn the skill of FIRO-B, where I learn how to understand your life first and then ask questions accordingly in the first 5 minutes. Builds a real connection with people.
Makes sense.
Right? Ask questions which they are interested in, not what you are interested in. But unfortunately, we always ask people based on what we like.
Be more interested in them than you are, from the How to Win Friends and Influence People book.
Yeah. Now, there is a specific framework that you can use to learn the skill of understanding somebody in five minutes. You ask the right questions, you know who they are. But for that, then you need to learn the FIRO-B tool, for an example, as a skill. See, this is what I'm saying. Everything has to be a framework. If you observe in professional education, everything has a framework. Right? If you get into a podcast right now with me, and let's say I'm the best coder in the world, and you're asking me a question, okay, show me 3 steps to create the best AI application.
Right.
Do you really think any best coder in the world can teach you that in 3 steps? No. It's a skill he's acquired over a period of 3 months, maybe 6 months, with certain frameworks, certain languages that he has learned. He can't give you in 3 steps. So it's a skill. It's a professional education. I'm saying treat life skills like that education. And if you acquire those skills in 2025, I'm telling you, Ishan, nobody can stop anybody from achieving 10 years of success in 1 year.
Yeah.
Whether they join Platinum, whether they don't join Platinum, it doesn't matter. But first focus on building those skills.
Right. You mentioned this thing that if you ask people about their goals or about what they want to do this year, people don't know about the future and cannot create goals.
Yeah.
How can they set goals which they can actually achieve in this year? And as you said, most people are stuck for the last 10 years in HRCM.
Correct.
But then they always set resolutions for New Year, right? That is the most cliche thing to do. New Year resolutions 2024, 2025, 10 saal se kar rahe hain, but then they miss on that.
Correct.
Why does that happen? And what can they do to create goals that they can actually achieve?
Okay. So the first thing that we need to do whenever we talk about creating goals is step 1, don't create a goal. Okay. Step 1, first work on healing those emotions, which has been a big roadblock in the last year. Example. What are the emotions that last year I felt which stopped me from achieving my goals? You give me an example. Something that you really wanted to do, but you couldn't do in last year and you're planning to do this year.
I want to focus more on my fitness. Last year I was traveling too much, as I said, to US and elsewhere.
Fair.
And I wasn't able to focus much on that.
Fair. So can I say feeling busy has been one common emotion that has stopped you from exercising, from working on your fitness. First heal that emotion. First work on that emotion of feeling busy and change it to a positive emotion. Right? For an example, instead of feeling busy, I feel and I believe I always have time. But someone who always believes I never have time because I'm traveling, because I'm working, they'll never focus on fitness. Even if I create that goal 1 more year, It'll just 2025 will be another 2024 because I have the same emotions of last year. So if I don't release those emotions from last year, I can't create a new year. So one of the things I say is, let's have a happy new you to create a happy new year. You can't have the old you with a happy new year.
You have to reinvent yourself.
To reinvent yourself. Step one of that is write down all the emotions that stopped you in last year. Example of relationships. What do you think are the emotions that people must be stuck with in last 2024, which did not help them attract a partner?
Maybe, again, as we said, they're not happy in themselves. They don't know how to communicate love.
So can I say lonely?
Yeah.
Lonely is an emotion.
But there's also a difference between solitude and loneliness. For example, most people are lonely, but they're not confident in themselves and they're insecure about their loneliness.
Correct. So if they keep that emotion from last year and they make a new goal, this year I want to be married, will it work?
It will not.
It will not. So create a new you first, which means part of new emotions. So this year, if they want to attract a partner, one is they have to stop feeling lonely. Obviously, that's a skill. But second, what emotion do they have to acquire now? What would you say? Instead of loneliness.
They have to learn how to love themselves and how to communicate.
So when you say lonely, what is the opposite of lonely?
Self-content.
Connection. Just feeling connected with yourself.
With yourself.
Can I learn the skill to feel connected with myself? Where I'm sitting alone in my house, but I love my company. I'm not getting bored with myself. Okay.
People are very social. They're like, I have to be in like parties and social things. And if I'm not there, I'm missing out. How do you let go of that and love yourself and your own company?
Obviously, because I don't love myself and I don't appreciate myself. If I always need your eyes to show me how good I am, then I am going to get addicted to you. But what if I could do this beautiful exercise of sitting at home once in a day, minimum 5 minutes, and writing down what's amazing about me? See, people who are very lonely, they're very self-critical. They hardly see what's good about themselves. And to see whatever is good about them, they need people. So they're addicted to socialism.
Approval चाहिए,
compliments चाहिए. तो लोगों को बुरा लग जाता है अगर किसी ने उनको पार्टी पे नहीं बुलाया. लोगों को बुरा लग जाता है अगर उनकी तरफ ध्यान नहीं दिया. क्यों? वैलिडेशन चाहिए. वहीं से तो वैलिडेशन मिल रही है, इसलिए तो वहां जा रहे हो. Right? Now someone who loves themselves and appreciates themselves can now be alone and be happy, and can also go out and be happy. Now this is a new me. Can this new me have a better year?
Absolutely.
Of course. So have this new emotion called connection with myself. Answer to your question, how do you do that? दिन में एक बार कम से कम 5 मिनट खुद के साथ बैठो और लिखो what is amazing about me. That is 1. 2. What are some of the things about me which I can accept? कि ये कभी नहीं बदलेगा. And stop trying to change that. I'll give you an example. There's one part of me I can never change, and I'll tell you what is that, which is amazing about you, by the way. I can never be a techie geek. Right? When I talk to people like you, you are like the people to talk about technology right now.
Right.
Can I really do that? Do I really like that?
The dislike-like thing doesn't work here?
It can, but then there is something called intrinsic liking and disliking. That's also a skill to understand that what part of me is truly me. Because not everybody is made same. Correct? So I realized, okay, this is something I don't want to do. Will I use the dislike-like technique to enjoy it enough to do it workable? Yes, I will. Because in today's world, I can't say I don't like AI.
When you have to make something work, you just figure it out.
Yes. Yeah. So I'll now use the dislike to like enough to workable. That, okay, I'm not going to get frustrated every time I'm talking about AI. But I don't expect myself to be as good at it as you are. So I'm going to write that thing down as, okay, Mitesh, you're not a geek. It's okay. I love you for that. Okay. Another thing. You love traveling. I know that from what you've told me. Mitesh doesn't like traveling. It's okay. You don't have to love traveling. You don't have to become like Ishan. So if I write down 5 things about myself every day, which I like about myself, I appreciate. 5 things about myself which I'm saying, आज तो accept कर रहा हूँ, कल का कल देखेंगे. हो सकता है next year I choose to change it. But अभी तो I'm choosing कि भैया मैं ऐसा ही हूँ. I love myself this way. I accept these faults in me. और इसको मैं बदलने की कोशिश नहीं करने वाला हूँ हफ्ता भर. How easy will it be to be with myself? What do you think?
It'll be much more possible for you to enjoy your own company. Okay, this is who I am, and I accept who I am.
Exactly.
And I love who I am.
And if I do that this year, is there a higher chance I'll find a partner?
Truly. Yeah.
See, new me, new year.
Yeah.
Old me, old year. Happy New Year बोलने से कुछ नहीं होने वाला है. Again, going back to चलो career का वापस example लेते हैं. We're taking all areas, right? HR, CM. Career में if old emotion has been feeling like a failure, feeling jealous, such a common emotion nowadays.
कलीग को मिल गया प्रमोशन, मुझे नहीं
कलीग को प्रमोशन मिल गया, वो
मैं इतना मेहनत करता हूँ.
हाँ, मैं इतना मेहनत
पीपीटी में बनाता हूँ, सारा वो लेके चला जाता है.
Exactly. जैसे आपके केस में ना बहुत lot of your friends are going to be jealous now. Because this was probably the year you would have passed out.
Right, yeah. Last year, 2023.
2023. As a person, you are already far successful. They may be right now looking for a job or already in a job in the first year.
Paying their student loan.
Paying their student loans, correct. Now, some of them, if they have the habit of feeling jealous, that last year emotion, if they continue this year, and they make a goal saying, I'm also going to make a business like Ishan one day. Do you really think writing that goal in 2025 with the old emotions of jealousy is going to work?
It will not.
It will not. Even if they attract the opportunities, they will sabotage it.
They have to have the abundance wala mindset.
Abundance mindset. So this year उनका नया emotion क्या होना चाहिए?
That Ishan is doing well. I can also do well.
More than that, can I genuinely learn to be happy for Ishan? So the emotion that someone would need this year instead of jealousy would be the emotion of being generous and being happy for you. Right? If every successful person they met this year, instead of feeling comparison and jealousy like last year, if they felt happy for that person genuinely, what would be the chances of acquiring things from that person this year?
They'll learn a lot.
Much more.
Yeah.
Much more. So first, make a list of all those emotions that became a block for last year and change those emotions this year. That is one. Two, all the beliefs that you did not have last year, or let me put it this way, all the limiting beliefs that you had last year, change them this year.
What are the most common self-beliefs that people have which is not allowing them to get their full potential?
The single most common belief is I'm not good enough.
Did you ever feel that?
Yes, of course. Initially, when I was learning life skills myself, like any other human being, I was also into comparison. I was also into trying to achieve more, and feeling not good enough, looking at other people. It was when I went through my own life coaching, when I realized that first I need to change this belief that I'm not good enough. I am enough. And the more I believe I am enough, the more I produce something good out of that belief of saying I am enough versus I'm not enough. Just try this. Instead of saying I'm not good enough, just for 30 days have this belief. And how do you believe that? Repeat. Just repetition helps you believe something. Every morning you wake up, start with that affirmation, I'm enough. Like one of my favorite affirmations when I go to sleep at night, which has helped me create a belief is, my life is whole and complete, exactly the way it is right now. That's how I sleep every night.
You wouldn't want it any other way.
Because one of the things I learned from my mentor many years ago was, how are you so sure that tomorrow morning you will wake up? How are you so sure that this night is not your last night then? So one of the things I made a decision many years ago was, I will not sleep any night dissatisfied. It's okay to be dissatisfied during the day, helps me during achieving goals, all that is fine.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to sleep dissatisfied because I don't know whether this is my last night or not. So I always sleep with that affirmation, my life is whole and complete, exactly the way it is right now.
I went to the World Trade Center in New York where the 9/11 thing happened, and I was seeing the memorials of all the people who unfortunately were no more because of the attack. The Twin Towers collapsed and 3,000 people died. And those were the 3,000 people who would have left home thinking that they'll come back to their kids, to their wives, to their loved ones, but they could not.
Correct.
And that just filled me up with so much emotion कि उन्होंने सोचा होगा कि अच्छा हम ये बाद में करेंगे, या फिर they would have plans कि अच्छा 5 साल बाद करेंगे, आज काम पे चले जाते हैं, काम कर लेते हैं and all that.
And hence it's so important to sleep every night with that satisfaction. And knowing that's what's more important than anything else in the world right now is this moment where I'm sleeping right now and the people with whom I'm sleeping in my family. They are important, I'm important, this moment is important, and I'm going to sleep in satisfaction every night.
But लोग now में नहीं रह पाते, like in The Power of Now जो किताब भी है, right? So
correct.
Why do you think that is? Why are they people either living in the past or thinking of the future? Why can't they live in the now?
It's a habit. Again, it's a skill. See, skills, it's not like we don't have skills. What are skills? Skills are nothing but habits of doing things unconsciously. Let's define a skill in a very simple way. Something I do unconsciously and I do it well is a skill. Now, it can be a good habit or a bad habit, right? Now, you can develop bad habits unconsciously, you can develop good habits unconsciously, or you can do it consciously. So, might as well do it consciously. So, yes, not being in the moment is a bad habit. But do you develop that consciously? No. So, can you develop the conscious habit of being in the now?
You can.
You can. How? One simple skill. Take 10 conscious deep breaths, and every moment make sure that you're focused only on the breath.
At the end of the day?
Anytime. You could do it now, you could do it in the afternoon, you could do it in the morning, you could do it in the evening. But make sure that at least once in a day, take 10 breaths and count those 10 breaths. And for all those 10 breaths, make sure that you're conscious. That's being in the moment. And if I do that twice,
Meditation helps with that?
meditation helps with that, of course. Because meditation is about what? Just being present. Because what happens in meditation is constantly a thought comes and you get engaged in it. Now, either you're in the present, past thought, or in the future thought, not in the present again. Meditation is all about just being present to the sensations in the body, the present sensations of your mind, your heart, how you're feeling. Thoughts come, let them go. Now, it's not easy to do that for 1 hour if you're not having that skill.
Right.
But can you do it if you practice 1 minute every day? Sure.
Right.
Is it going to take 10 years to become skilled enough to do it for 1 hour every day? No.
Have you built this habit of meditating?
Now I have.
What is the biggest change that you've observed with meditation in your own life?
2 big changes. One is obviously more calm. Because when you're more present, you don't get into the illusion of past and the illusion of the future.
What was and what could be?
And it's an illusion, right? Because imagine somebody who's crying right now. Why are they crying? They're crying remembering a memory that happened 1 year ago. It could be a breakup. It could be a failure. But they're crying as if the moment is happening now. But is the moment happening now?
It is now. Not.
So then isn't it an illusion? You're crying for something that happened 1 year ago.
Yeah.
Now that person will say, but you don't know how real it is for me. It's not. It's an illusion in the moment. How do I know that? Were you feeling like crying in the morning when you were in the toilet?
I was not.
That's it, right? That's why it's an illusion.
Yep.
It's just that in this moment, you are not living in the moment. You're living in that 1 year ago moment. And because of that, you're crying right now. And that's an illusion. So I say in my programs, I say, all emotions are lies. All emotions are manufactured. No emotions are real. They're just in the moment. Reality is what lasts. Life and death. Day and night. These are real. And have they changed in last 100 years?
They have not.
So that's reality. That's natural. We overuse and abuse the word reality and natural. When we say something is natural, how do you say something is natural? Universe has made it that way and it has not changed in the last 100, 200, 300,000 years. That's natural. That's real. I feel like crying. Is that real? Or is it an illusion based on the past?
But they've internalized it to be real.
Exactly. Isn't that what an illusion is?
Right.
Something that you internalize as real. What is a magic show? Where the magician distracts you and
हाथ की सफाई.
हाथ की सफाई कुछ इस तरीके से करता है कि in that moment that feels अरे कार्ड गायब हो गया उसके हाथ के पीछे but he gives you that perception कि कार्ड गायब हो गया.
Right.
What is the illusion of future? Worry. नहीं हुआ तो? I always ask people who are worried, in the last 10 years of your life, or not 10 years, depending on person to person, I ask people what's their age. Like, what's your age?
23.
23. I wouldn't say all 23, but let's say from the time you've started feeling the emotion of worry, how many years have you lived since then?
I think it was when I first gave my IIT JEE ka exam and I was worried if I will get into an IIT, which I did not. But 2 days from today, I'm going to be speaking in 2 IITs, IIT Kanpur and IIT Guwahati.
Wow.
And that is going to be
amazing.
Monumental.
So I want you to go back to that moment where you said you got worried.
Yeah.
What year was it?
It was the fear of what will happen when everyone will know, my parents will see that I did not make it.
Correct.
And I will realize that the last 3-4 saal ki mehnat has gone down the drain.
Correct.
And so what now?
So in that moment, that emotion was real for you, that worry.
Yeah.
But it was based on future. What will people think? And I always ask this question. Check any of your worries in the past. Have they really 99% come real in the present? Most of them have not.
Right.
In fact, as you just told me, You are now going to IIT to give a lecture.
Yeah.
So how real was that worry then?
Yeah.
How authentic was that worry? How required was that worry?
But I think that was the best thing ever that happened to me. Not getting into an IIT was the best thing ever. I always wanted to get into an IIT. But if I would have gotten an IIT, I would have never been here where I am today.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there are two things that I told you I got from meditation. One is the gratitude for being in the present moment and not getting lost in the illusion of the past and not getting lost in the illusion of the future worries. The second most beautiful thing that I got from meditation or practicing these things is the ability to see balanced perspective before it happens.
Balanced perspective.
What is balance? Balance is the ability to see two sides of life in the same moment. The good and the bad, the right and the wrong, the advantages and the disadvantages.
If you cannot debate for and against an argument, then you haven't understood it well enough.
Yeah. You got it. So being able to see both sides, that's balance. So in this example, how many years since that conversation where you failed in IIT?
It's been 5 years.
5 years. For any person in the world who fails today, 3 years later, feeling grateful that what happened to me 3 years earlier was the best thing that ever happened, is easy. Easy for anybody. But getting that balance in that moment when it's happening,
that's very hard. Uncertainty, because I don't know what will happen.
But that's the balanced perspective skill that I acquired through some of these skills building, through some of the things like meditation, where in the moment I'm able to see that yes, I failed, but there's something good about it. So the faster you see balance in the current moment is the faster you evolve in life. Versus taking 5 years to realize, oh, that was the best thing that happened to me. Then it may take 5 years for that maturity.
Can you give some examples or cases of people who are my age or age of the audience who are watching this, probably 20 to 25, who have had similar experiences and how have they improved their life for them to get perspective?
Excellent. So there's a girl recently who's in our program and she's a singer and she's a musician.
How old is she?
About 24. And being a musician, she just shared with me last week that she was institutionalized in a mental hospital last month, which was last year, 2024, December. The reason was depression. The reason was not having control over her thoughts, her emotions, her behavior, having suicidal tendencies. And after she came back, she had completely stopped working on her music. Wasn't even getting ideas, not even getting
What was the
inspiration.
cause for that?
I didn't even ask the cause. Because in our group, sometimes we don't always being able to interact with people personally. There are large groups, right? But what she did share with me was this, that after she joined this whole program of Advanced Law of Attraction, Platinum membership, started practicing every day on her skills of how to take control of her emotions, how to take control of her thoughts, how to take control of her beliefs. These are the skills we are talking about for the last 45 minutes. The moment she did that, now she's been doing it for 15 days. She said for the first time in last many months, she created music.
Wow.
And for the first time, she said, I'm smiling, I'm happy. And she said, Mitesh, the weirdest thing is, none of my problems are fully solved yet. But I'm a much happier person. I'm creating. I'm feeling good about myself. And I know it's an amazing life.
So did she detach herself and her emotions from the problems that she was going through?
On the contrary, I would say she evolved from there. See, detached is separating yourself. Okay, but there's one part called evolution, where you evolve emotionally as a person. So that is why I keep saying in my program, stop solving, start evolving. People who keep solving, they remain at the same levels of frequency. But people who evolve emotionally, they feel better, they think better. When they think better, they behave better. So this is one example. Now I'll give you an example of someone who's not at your age, but someone who's my age. Right? There's this one lady in US. She's married. And when she joined our program, she told me that for the last 9 years that she's married, she has not hugged her husband.
Oh.
No physical touch. Now in
That's
her case, I
crazy.
knew the reason because she's in platinum. She said many years ago, she was abused by somebody physically and someone in her family. So she lost trust in men. And even though it's been 9 years to her marriage. She's not able to fully trust her husband. She's not able to trust her father fully. It's not easy for her to hug. She was under depression. She was taking psychological treatment at that time. She was going through taking tablets. She's a singer again, incidentally. She's also an actress, by the way. But she had stopped completely. Zero career right now. Constantly going through fear and anxiety every day. Now it's been 1 year that she's been learning with us. She's back to acting. Today, her relationship with her husband is so beautiful that she is not only personally, physically intimate with him, but at a connection level, she truly feels he's her best friend now. Because that bond, that trust has come back in our relationship.
He was the same through it all.
He was the same. In fact, something crazy happened where she was sharing this with us again in the last week. And she said, now I love my husband so much, you can see a love bite on his neck half the time. Half the group didn't know how to react. And this is the same girl who shared with us 1 year ago that she can't hug. Imagine how comfortably she's talking about something so personal right now.
Right.
Do you think this can happen without emotionally evolving as a person?
It cannot.
It cannot. So this is an example of that. I'll give you another case study. There's this one guy who lives in Dubai. And he had bought a house over there, which he thought he would sell, and it was an investment, but that was stuck for 5 years. His savings had depleted. He had left his job and started doing some business consulting, not working. He had come to a phase where he had one last bit of money left. And he thought, like, now, if this doesn't work, nothing will work. And that was the time he took the good decision of learning, using that money for the first time, not to only keep doing business, but to create a skill for himself and to get into life skills. That's when he joined our programs. Today, it's been exactly 6 months to that. Believe me, right now, he's financially free.
Wow.
He sold off that property. His consulting business took off. He's now making more than 5 lakh rupees a month in just 6 months. Okay, true case study. And as of now, in 6 months, he's already had 20 days of holiday in US.
Wow.
Why? Because he's financially free now. He's just come back from US this year, and now he's enjoying his life as a consultant, financially free. But all of this didn't happen in the last 3 years. Why?
Because he was not aligning himself and not focusing on the FTBA and measuring his goals, his life.
Exactly.
HRCM that you talked about.
So what happened in the last 6 months? What happened not because it's magic only, but it happened because he worked on his life skills. So let's do it this way. All this sounds very unbelievable, right? So let's do it this way. People who are watching us right now, I'm going to give them that Excel sheet, which I do with my platinum members for free. I've never done this before.
Wow.
But let's give it to them. It's not like rocket science. It's a very simple Excel sheet. But track yourself for 52 weeks. Right? Along with that, we'll also give them first lesson of health mastery, first lesson of relationship mastery, first lesson of advanced LOA, and first lesson of hope. No, we'll give you all this free. We'll give it to you step by step every week.
LOA and?
Advanced LOA, health mastery, relationship mastery.
Okay.
And hope no. So hope no is a tool which one can use to release negative emotions that you've been experiencing last year. Because how do you really release those emotions? You got to use some skill. You got to use some framework. So Hope No is a beautiful frame. You don't know Hope No?
I have no idea. Hearing it for the first time.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh boy, this is another conversation opening up. Okay, now. All right, so here we go. Get ready to be blown away. There is a guy called Dr. Hulen. He's no more now. He's a mental hospital psychiatric doctor. He lived in Hawaii Island and he was working in a mental hospital there. He was responsible for a particular department that was violent department. So in every mental hospital, there are levels of what people go through, right? One level is the highest level where people are so violent that they are tied in body jackets. Not only because they can harm you, but because they can harm themselves. They've been giving sedations, injections, electric shocks, therapies, counseling, everything. Like everything is tried on them. Most of these people are never discharged. They live there for a lifetime.
Their entire life.
Now, Dr. Hulen joined this institution. This is a very old story. It's available. I'll give you the article for this. In 6 months, he released all of them.
Wow.
It shook up the medical industry. He literally healed all of them, sent them home. In 1 year, whoever were the mental patients, they all got cured. Crazy story.
क्या किया ऐसा?
पहले बताता हूँ क्या नहीं किया. No electric shocks after he came. no medications, no counseling, no therapy, no personal conversation also. He did all this using a beautiful process called Ho'oponopono. Ho'oponopono is a Hawaiian old tribal technique which they use, which is based on the science that words have energy. That when I say something to you, or even if I think about you, and if I say certain words, it has an impact on you. But I don't think this is rocket science. You and I know that, right? If you talk to me in a rude way, even though you intend well, it'll have a negative impact on me. Fair?
Right.
Can I also say, even if I don't meet you personally, but if I mentally think about you all the time and I have negative thoughts about you, it can impact you. Would you agree with that also?
How so?
Example. Have you ever had an experience where, and people must have had this experience where two friends, one of me, let's say I am angry with you, but I have not told you anything.
Right.
But mentally I'm thinking ill of you. And sometimes you feel it and you ask me, say, Mitesh, is everything okay?
पनौती लग गई बोलते हैं.
हाँ, कि सब ठीक तो है, आजकल तो बात नहीं कर रहा, क्या हुआ?
Right.
And I'm not telling you anything, but you can sense it. Why? Because when I think about you and I communicate to you mentally, it impacts you. You can feel it. So this science, based on that, there are 4 statements of Ho'oponopono. I am sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. I'll repeat. I am sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you.
Sorry for the way I think about.
So, you've heard about Om?
Yeah.
What does the Om word mean?
What does it mean?
Doesn't matter. I'll tell you why. If you ask anybody what is the meaning of Om, doesn't matter. What matters is the chanting of Om has a vibration. The sound has a vibration. Right? Sometimes you'll hear music, just instrumental music. And if you ask what does it mean, if you're not a musician, you don't know what it means. But does it have an impact on you?
It does.
Why? Because music has vibrations. So if you play a very sad violin tone, it can depress you.
True.
Violin is a very powerful instrument.
It's just like using like the right background music in a video can change the vibe of it.
Exactly. Right? So just like that, the words I am sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you are the highest vibrational frequencies in the universe. It is not even necessary to understand why you're saying I'm sorry. But if you just simply think of somebody and you're constantly chanting within you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. These vibrations within me starts impacting you and starts healing you. So in our program, we use Ho'oponopono as a beautiful method to heal not you, but to heal my own negative emotions from my last year. So that I can have 2025 as the best year ever.
Really interesting.
So for an example, if I felt jealous last year, I would think about you. For an example, if I'm jealous of you, I would say, Ishan, I'm really sorry that I felt jealous with you. Please forgive me for feeling jealous. Thank you for giving me the wisdom to feel happy for you.
You would say it in your mind.
In my mind. Or I can say it loudly when I'm alone. I love you for teaching me how to be generous for you. Right? And I love myself. And now I'll just simply chant, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. Now it's common sense. Think about this. If a person who's been jealous of you all his life, if he consciously, loudly practiced this 1 minute every day for 30 days,
Right.
where he's saying, Ishan, I'm really sorry I have been jealous of you. Please forgive me that I have been jealous of you. Ishan, thank you for teaching me what is generosity. Ishan, I love you for being more successful than I am and teaching me how to be happy for people who are more successful than me. I am sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. That's it.
Right.
If I did this 1 minute every day, after 30 days, what are the chances I'm going to be jealous of you?
Very low.
0.
Right.
You can't have such beautiful thoughts about a person and feel jealous every day. It's just not possible, right? Once I heal these emotions from my past, now it's so easy to have a better 2025. So I'll give them the first lesson of Ho'oponopono completely free, where they don't even have to buy any course. It's a full experience of healing your past emotions. In fact, the first lesson is so powerful that people cry in the first lesson itself because they release a lot of suppressed negative emotions from their last year.
Is that because they feel bad about thinking ill about someone, or is it something else?
Okay. Imagine our emotions are like rigid ice in our subconscious. And imagine Ho'oponopono is like heat. It's doing nothing but just melting your rigid emotions. And the tears are just a release. Tears are nothing but energy coming out of your body. When you have certain realizations, when you have certain experiences, you cry. These tears that people will have in the first lesson are not tears of guilt, but releasing guilt. So I call that experience tears of joy, where you'll cry in tears. You'll cry in joy rather than crying in sadness. You've really never experienced Hope Nopno?
I didn't name it like that, but I think I've definitely been through that you're talking about. There was a framework around it that you mentioned, but I've done this before.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I would invite you to be part of the first lesson of the Hope Nopno. Experience that tears of joy with me.
Yeah.
And then share it with me. How did you feel after that?
Sure.
I'll give you that video. And we'll give it to the audience as well.
Yep.
Right? So idea is go through these experiences, heal your emotions. Then it's easy to have a better year.
We've already covered LOA in the last podcast that we did. I think that podcast was watched by so many people. I was blown away by the response.
Yeah.
I've seen the Secret, the documentary, read the book, and now it was so great to see people learn about that concept. And now we've talked about so many different concepts in this video itself. But lastly, I want to talk about the one thing which L&D chairman said, which was like, how long will you stare at your wife? You should even work on Sundays. And that is sort of the definition of success that is being told by Narayan Murthy or the L&T chairman. What is success and how do you define it? Is it really just the work ethic that you put in when you're young, or how do you create the definition of success for yourself?
Okay. The definition that I've lived by is something I've learned from nature. The reason is because I feel natural reality is always eternal. So let's learn from that nature. Let's learn from that eternal reality of what is success. Success is success only when it is holistic in all 4 areas of life. Health, relationships, career, and money. When someone can rate themselves 7 out of 10 on health, 7 out of 10 on relationships, 7 out of 10 on career, and 7 out of 10 on money, that is success. But if someone can rate themselves a 9 out of 10 on money, but 3 out of 10 on health, that success is meaningless. If someone can rate themselves 9 out of 10 on career, 9 out of 10 on money, but 2 out of 10 on relationships.
And health as well.
I would say that success is meaningless.
Hollow success.
And people would feel this in different stages of life. Out of 4, 1 is missing. The rest of the 3, even if it is 9 out of 10, feels meaningless. And now I'll come to the other spectrum of it. A person who's got 9 out of 10 on health and 9 out of 10 on relationships, but 1 out of 10 on money. 1 out of 10 on career.
Right.
Again, health
that is equally bad.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Health and relationships will feel meaningless in that moment. Why? Because career and money is not there.
Right.
So I would say don't aspire to be just working 90 hours a week and becoming the most successful as per the material understanding is career and money only. Most people, for them right now, career is success. Money is success. But that's not the only definition of success. True definition of success from my point of view, may not be the point of view, is success only when it is holistic in all 4 areas of life. Hence the word holistic, whole, not incomplete. Health, relationships, career, and money. Work on this 52 weeks this year of 2025. Commit to yourself that you will live as a whole person. You will not live as an incomplete person. That when you sleep at night, see if you've worked on all 4 areas today. See if you've worked a little bit for your health. Right? Not giving yourself, if I may say the word, busy for traveling.
Right.
But give yourself, if not 1 hour of gym, give yourself the feeling of 10 minutes of prioritization on health. Go take a 10-minute walk.
Yeah.
Go do 20 push-ups and then increase it by 1 every day. But do something to prioritize your health every day by 1 point. Every day, make sure that no matter whether you have a job today or not, whether you have millions in your bank account or 0, doesn't matter. Find a way to connect with your parents. Go spend quality time with your mom. Go spend quality time with your brother and sister. Go spend quality time with your friends. I'm not saying do it every day. Maybe it'll feel like a cliche to go to mom every day and say, Mom, I love you. She'll be like, क्या हो गया? काम पे जा.
क्या चाहिए बता?
क्या चाहिए बता, right? I'm not saying do it like a cliche, but
Right.
spend 5 minutes in relationship with yourself. Spend 5 minutes in prioritization of relationship. Emotions like love, emotions like friendship, emotions like satisfaction. Live that, no? Now make sure that before you sleep at night, experience emotions related to career. Right? Which is what? Growth. Growth is an emotion. You don't only feel growth when you make $1 million. You also feel when you do something new in your career. Learn a new skill, read a new book, watch a new podcast, but specific to your career. Feel like you're growing every day. थोड़ा सा रोज grow करो career में.
1% better.
1% better. Make sure that financially you're doing something new to make money every day. If nothing, make sure that if you don't have a job right now, find a way to help somebody to make 10 rupees. People say 10 rupees? Yeah. 10 rupees is better than 0.
Yeah.
100 rupees is better than 0. 1000 rupees is better than 0. Do something to help somebody make money. In 2025, in today's age, and I'm not just saying 2025, I'm saying in today's decade, in today's generation, if people are saying, I don't know how to make money, they're lying to themselves. We are living in an era and an age where the opportunity to make money is 1,000,000 times more than what my dad used to have, than what your dad used to have. Would you agree?
True.
The opportunity is massive. Massive opportunity. For that matter, if some of you would just send a DM to Ishan saying, I'm a great video editor. What are the chances that you would respond if you need it? If you responded to 100 such podcasters today with a DM saying, I'm a great video editor. I'm willing to work for you. You may not get the best salary in the world initially, but you'll start making money. So before you sleep at night, commit yourself that every day you will work on all 4 areas of life. So what is success? Success is holistic of 4 areas of life. It's definitely not what L&T owner
Chairman is talking
said
about.
that. What are you going to do looking at your wife every day? I loved what Mahindra responded to that saying, I love looking at my wife every day. I said, I agree.
There were tweets of people. He just
Exactly.
spent the whole Sunday staring at my wife.
Exactly.
What did you do today?
Yeah, so lighter note, stare at your wife today if you have one.
Or get the life skills you need to get one.
Yes, get the life skills to get the wife you want.
Excellent. One last advice that you'd want to give to someone who's watching this video, maybe they're in their 20s and they want to evolve, they want to get better. What would be that one message to them who've watched this video till the very end?
Yeah. I'll give a message very candid and very honest with the purpose which I'm here with. One of my mission, Ishan, is I want law of attraction, which is what I teach in Platinum in life coaching. I want it to be a household of practice. I want a day has to happen where every child wakes up in the morning, every father wakes up in the morning and does affirmations. I want where people brushing their teeth and doing hope, nope, no. I do it.
Right.
I do hope, nope, no every day while brushing my teeth. My Platinum members do it every day. If there is one thing that I would advise you is learn law of attraction, learn hope, nope, no. Practice it. And be a healthy skeptic in life. What I mean by being a healthy skeptic is, there are 2 types of people who will watch any podcast. One is an unhealthy skeptic. ये सबसे कुछ नहीं होता.
Right.
If it was so easy to make money, कोई भी hope no करेगा, पैसा आ जाएगा. This is unhealthy skeptic. A healthy skeptic is करके देखो.
Curious.
Be a scientist. Scientists are very skeptical, by the way. Scientists are not easy to convince, but they're healthy skeptics. They'll try it themselves. So I'll say, do it. We are giving you free programs. Come and attend. ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा क्या होगा, काम नहीं करेगा ना.
Right.
But if it is worth 1 hour of your life that you could heal some of the most critical negative emotions that you lived in 2024, isn't it worth experiencing something new for 1 hour? I think it's worth it, right? So my advice would be learn law of attraction, learn hope, no. And here is my most authentic advice. We all connect with certain type of people, right? And I'm very practical in knowing that some people will connect with me in this podcast and some people won't. Even if you don't connect with me as a coach, it's okay. But take this advice of learning hope, no, or law of attraction from some other coach. किसी और से सीख लो. अगर बहुत अच्छा कॉन्सेप्ट लगा तो ईशान को ही कमेंट में बोल दो, यार ईशान तू ही वीडियो बना दे. ईशान रिसर्च करके अगला वीडियो उसमें बना देगा. What do you think? Good idea for your next video.
Yeah, makes sense.
No. Learn from Ishan. Learn from somebody else. I'm being honest with you, but seeko. Because my mission of having law of attraction in every household, I don't think I can fulfill that alone. It's not possible. Not everybody is going to love everybody. Shri Shri Ravi Shankar is an amazing personality. People may like him, but not everybody follows him. Just like that, I am aware not everybody will like me, not everybody will agree with me. But I think everybody will definitely agree with the idea that we all need life skills. I think everybody will agree with my idea that it's important to heal negative emotions. Because these are foundation principles. This is not about you or me. This is about life. This is about if I really want to grow in life, I have to evolve as a person. Nobody can deny that. And in order to do that, couple of tools which I think in life skills are the most critical ones is law of attraction. Hope, no. Learn this either from me or from somebody else or from ChatGPT if you have to.
Yeah.
But learn it and make 2025 the best year of your life.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Mitesh, for joining me here. I think there was so much to take from this whole conversation that we had. I think people should definitely be taking notes and then researching about it and signing up for at least the Excel sheet. I think everyone should take up and start tracking. I think the best learning I had was to measure everything. And I've just started doing that in my career, in my health, in the numbers that I do on social. And that has been really impactful. Thank you so much. Guys, that was the podcast. Hit the like button and share this with a friend of yours. Get the Excel sheet with the link in the description and the first episode or the first course of the
first lesson of all these courses.
Yep. You'll find them in the description. Thank you so much for watching and we'll see you in the next one.